The Alfa Romeo Giulia is an executive saloon, a stylish Italian rival to the BMW 3 Series, Mercedes-Benz C-Class and Audi A4. It's still fun to drive, but it's more focused on comfort and everyday usability rather than out-and-out sporting agility. This Giulia Quadrifoglio, though, is a completely different animal. It's a performance saloon whose rivals include the storming BMW M3 and the Mercedes-AMG C63. To compete here, then, the Giulia needs to show it has thrilling performance, engaging handling, and the ability to put a smile on your face come rain or shine. And it also needs to do all of that while remaining every bit as practical as the regular Giulia. Now, in this review, we'll tell you what it's like to drive, what it's like inside, and how easy it is to live with. And remember, if at the end of it all you're interested in buying a new car, including an Alfa Romeo Giulia, then we can save you thousands off your next purchase. Just go to whatcar.com and click on our new car deal section. For now though, let's take this Giulia Quadrifoglio out for a spin. In the Giulia, your right foot is connected to a 2.9 litre V6 petrol engine, which produces 503 brake horsepower. Now, that's enough to get the car from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.9 seconds, making it one of the fastest sports saloons around. In fact, it will keep going onto a top speed of 191 miles per hour, although we suggest you take our word for that. Now, a sports saloon like this will live or die based on the way it drives, so it's good to know that in this regard at least, the Giulia is among the very best. It is a hugely entertaining car to drive quickly, and there's no lag from the turbocharger when you press the accelerator, just instant shove and instant power. There's a variety of driving modes to play with too, including a race mode, which really makes the most of this engine and automatic gearbox combination. In fact, if you enter this mode, the Giulia barks loudly everywhere it goes, and it really seems to suit the car's sporting nature. In fact, the only downside here is that the Giulia's brakes are a little disappointing. The pedal feels quite vague, and it's quite hard to judge how much braking force you'll need when slowing down for a corner. There's nothing wrong though with the way this Giulia handles. Thanks to its bespoke suspension setup, which you can stiffen at the touch of a button, there's next to no body roll through corners. Add that with the fact that there's plenty of grip from those front wheels and its steering is nice and precise, and the Giulia Quadrifoglio is one of the very best sports saloons, especially if you're driving at some pace. In fact, the only downside is the amount of road noise that enters this interior when you're cruising along the motorway. You sit low down inside this Alfa Romeo Giulia, meaning you naturally adopt a more hunkered down driving position, which seems to suit the car's nature. You should be able to get comfortable pretty quickly because there's lots of adjustment both in this seat and in this steering wheel. But if you can, we recommend going for these optional carbon fibre sport seats because they're more heavily bolstered and will keep you more stable through the corners. Now, entry-level Giulias can feel a little cheap inside, but that's not something that can be said for this Quadrifoglio model. You get more leather, and this carbon fibre effect trim really lifts the whole interior into roughly the same level as BMW and Mercedes, even though there are still some cheaper feeling switchgear here and some rough plastics lower down on the centre console. This infotainment system too, both in the way it looks and in terms of how easy it is to use, can't quite match up to rivals like BMW's iDrive system or Mercedes Command software. It does though cover all the basics, and you get things like sat-nav, Bluetooth connectivity and a DAB radio. The Giulia Quadrifoglio isn't the sort of car most people will buy purely for its practicality, but it's good to know that it is every bit as practical as the standard Giulia inside, and that means there's plenty of space for both you and your family. These seats are nice and wide, meaning two adults can sit across from each other without ever feeling hemmed in. And there's also plenty of space for your odds and ends. There's a large space here under the centre armrest, two cup holders here in front of the gear lever, these door bins can take a large water bottle, and of course there's a glove box as well. Move to these rear seats and your passengers will have a decent amount of legroom but only an adequate amount of headroom, meaning taller adults may begin to suffer on longer journeys. It's also worth noting that although there is a space in the middle here, the Giulia Quadrifoglio is a strict 4-seater, so no carrying 5 people in this car. There's a good amount of space inside the Giulia Quadrifoglio's boot, more in fact than you'll find in a BMW M3 and the same as you'll find in a Mercedes-AMG C63, and that means you should be able to get a couple of large suitcases in here or a large weekly shop without breaking into a sweat. It's bad news though if you need to do some weekend DIY and need a bigger space, because there's no way of dropping the rear seats, not even as an option. Now, the chances are that if you're in the market for a performance saloon like the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, then running costs won't be at the very top of your list of priorities. Still, it's good to know that in terms of both fuel economy and CO2 emissions, this Giulia is competitive against its key rivals from BMW and Mercedes-Benz. It's worth noting, though, that in terms of servicing costs, well, they're as eye-watering as you'd expect, and if you plan on buying on a PCP finance deal, then the Giulia Quadrifoglio doesn't hold on to its value as well as its key rivals, and that affects how much you're going to pay per month. At least you get a lot of equipment as standard though. 19-inch alloy wheels, Bluetooth connectivity, cruise control, leather trim inside, it's all standard, so you shouldn't need to go too mad with the options list, maybe just those carbon fibre sport seats we mentioned earlier. In terms of safety kit, Euro NCAP has given the car a 5-star rating, and it comes with automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection and 6 airbags as standard. Now, make no mistake, the Giulia Quadrifoglio is a truly exceptional performance saloon. It can't quite match up to its key rivals in terms of interior quality, but it more than makes up for that with a sweet engine, engaging handling, and a truly invigorating driving experience. Now, for plenty more on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, including our full online review of both it and its key rivals, head to whatcar.com. And while you're there, click on our new car deals section to see how much we can save you on your next car. It could be thousands of pounds. But before you do anything else, make sure you click subscribe to never miss another video.